Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. Jim Feist is here. I'm Dave Cokin. NBA Finals finally getting underway. Yes, we got some Major League Baseball as well. Jim 8-1 now, current run with your high-end inner circle baseball plays. Marlins 10-3, part of a 5-0 night. The basketball 110-70, going back all season 61%.
Yeah, the Marlins were great, Dave. Part of a 5-0 night, and the NBA is back. Thank goodness for that, because I got some strong stuff going on there as well. Now, I have another red-hot inner circle baseball winner at jimfeist.com. It's $49 along with that NBA Game 1 showdown. $49, jimfeist.com.
I had a 1-2 night last night. I had a terrible loss on the Rangers. The free play was one of the losers. That was the Dodgers. And winner with the Tigers. So it still ended up with a profit on the two plays that were at jimfeist.com. And I've got a high-end value plus play tonight in baseball. Plus, got the basketball up as well. And you can get that right now at jimfeist.com. Plus, if you want to sign up for a whole week of all the online plays, plus my daily Pros versus Joes newsletter, $99 for a full week. Just click on that item at jimfeist.com and be ready to go. So we finally get going with the NBA Finals. The betting volume on this is going to be unbelievable. That's one of the good things. I don't know whether it's intentional. It's not intentional on the NBA's part. They did this for TV purposes. But one of the offshoots is that this weight between the championship, the conference championships and the league championship series has created lots of opportunities for the books to get all kinds of props out there and publicize them. And the overall volume on this game tonight in the series is going to be tremendous. It's going to break a record, Jim.
I believe that. We got two really, I don't know if they're really great teams. I think a lot of people are saying that Golden State could be one of the greatest teams ever. I kind of poo-poo that a little bit because the game has changed so much. I mean, we almost have no big men anymore that matter. So the game is different. So in this era, the Warriors might be the greatest team in this era. Now, on the other side, we have Cleveland with LeBron, and there's always that argument, is LeBron or MJ the best player ever? Well, different eras again. But in this era, this guy can do more things than just about anybody. So in this era, I'd say LeBron is the best player of the last 10 or 12 years. And that, bears out. I mean, he's been in, 7 or 8 straight finals?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's who does that? I mean, it's every place he goes, they go to the finals. So what does that tell you? I mean, it tells you that there's something about this guy. He can do everything. I mean, he may not be the greatest foul shooter. He may not be the greatest three-point shooter. But you put it all together, driving to the bucket, hitting the fouls, hitting the three-pointers, playing defense, running the court, getting rebounds. I mean, who does it better than this guy? So you have an interesting line move on this game. Original number that I saw coming out of bookmaker Brett Crisp, Golden State opened 5 and 226. It went up almost, and there were some places that went all the way up to 7.5 and 226.5 or 227. That got out there a little bit. Now the number is, you see some 7.5s, you see some 7s minus 15, which means it's heading towards 7.5, leaning that way. But the total has come down from those 226.5, 227 to 223. And you also see some 223.5. So the consensus that I hear out there, and I mean, I read everything, listen to everything, is that the Golden State's going to win this thing in 5 games. And some people say they're going to sweep. I don't see that. I think it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to be I think we're going to finally see some. I know last year and in this particular matchup, the games were all lopsided except the final game, which was an incredible game. I've watched it twice now in the last few days, and it was an incredible game to watch. But in this playoff series that we've had the last month, there's been a ton of blowouts. Nothing good for television purposes. Pardon me, Dave?
I said I'll say it's been kind of
Yeah,
boring.
it's been boring TV. I mean, the games are over in the first 10 minutes. I don't think we're going to see that. I think these guys know each other. I think the biggest matchup problem in this series, it's obvious. You have three big superstars on the Cleveland side, and you have four big superstars on the Golden State side, and they have home court advantage. The matchup issue, who's going to guard who? I think that's where the big issue is. Can you slow down these four monster players that Golden State has? Can you get in their face? Can you slow them down? Can you make them miss shots? And then, of course, on the other side, who's going to guard LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love? Because they're all, and and some of the other guys are pretty damn good too. Fry, Corver, that's a backup guy. The backup guy's coming off the bench. It's going to come down to coaching adjustments. Now, the loss of Steve Kerr, I mean, he's still in the game. He's still playing the coach, but he's not there. And then, of course, you have this other side note where Brown, who's now the interim coach for Golden State, was LeBron's coach at Cleveland a few years ago. Now, how much is that going to help Golden State prepare for LeBron? I think everybody knows what LeBron does anyway, so I don't know that it matters, but it is an interesting side note.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I said accurately that one thing would take place. It has. The sharp money is showing on the under in this game, and that's why you look at the line move, and then the ticket count on the total of this game. The ticket count is heavily on the over tonight. The line has moved at the sharpest doors. It's gone down 2 points from where it opened. Actually, one of the houses 2.5 points, and in Las Vegas, the store, I think many bettors consider the sharpest is lower than anybody on the game. They have the lowest total on the entire board from what I can see. So, take that for what it's worth. I'm not going to tell you what I played in the game. I don't always take the sharp side on a side or a total because I'm going to do my own handicapping and let chips fall where they may. But that's some good information on the game. Meanwhile, speaking of heavy ticket counts, this Diamondbacks game against the Marlins tonight, it's a strange line in this game. I thought the line would come higher. It didn't, and I mean all the money. All the tickets. It's by far the heaviest percentage bet on the board today is on Arizona, and yet the line has gone down 3 cents at Pinnacle, 1 cent at Greek. It's going down across the board. So it's not a big sharp square split, Jim, but definitely the sharper money is showing on Miami in this game. Reasons for that? Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask the guys who bet it. I didn't play the game myself, but it's Arizona starting another road trip, or continuing a road trip. It's the 8th road game of an 11-game trip. Travel involved. They played a 14-inning game yesterday at Pittsburgh. That's not the easiest of circumstances. So even though you've got a big edge in the mound with Greinke against Jeff Locke, the Marlins are playing probably their best ball of the season. They've won 7 of their last 10. They beat up the Phillies yesterday. I don't know if that means anything because the Phillies are an absolute train wreck right now. But nevertheless, it's good for the Marlins. And one of the things that's happened, this has coincided with a move that Don Mattingly made. He put Stanton in the number 2 spot in the batting order. You don't usually see the big power guy in the number 2 spot, but this is kind of following along the lines of what the Angels were doing with Mike Trout, who in most games was hitting second. And this is a sabermetric move. If you ask most baseball mathematicians, they'll tell you that the ideal spot for your best guy or your main power guy is actually in the second spot, because you want your best hitter to get as many plate appearances as you can, but you also want to have him in a situation where he might be able to drive in a run. So having him hit second gets him the most plate appearances, while also getting him a chance to knock in the leadoff hitter if that guy happens to get on base. So it makes some sense from a metric standpoint, and the Marlins seem to have responded to this. Jim, I'm not going against Zach Greinke right now. This guy is absolutely on fire. He looks like he did in 2015. His numbers are getting better, and I would assume that he was probably already in Florida all along. I would imagine he left yesterday long before the rest of the team did. I don't know that for sure, but that's what most teams do. So, I don't want the Diamondbacks in this spot coming off. The scheduling dynamics are clearly anti-Arizona here. Clearly anti-Arizona. But the Marlins, they don't beat anybody good. I'm just not weighing in much into the Phillies game, and I don't like Jeff Locke, so I'm going to stay the heck out of the game.
Well, Dave, I think the key to this game is the fact that Arizona has been on the road. It's been a grind. A lot of these players are starting to get a little tired.
Sure they are.
Then they played 14 innings and then had to travel. Not the most ideal situation. Now the question, and I know you follow a lot of baseball and know what these guys are doing in their rehabs and in the minors and when they come back up through Double or Triple A. Locke, I believe, pitched pretty well in his rehab before they called him up.
Yeah, but it's Jeff Locke. I mean,
yeah, but all these pros have they all have the ability to get that 4 or 5 innings. That.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not arguing against Miami here, but you'll never hear me say anything positive about Jeff Locke. I don't think he's a big league starting pitcher. I think
probably not anymore.
Lefty out of the bullpen, and that's it.
Well, you definitely have the pitching matchup. You do have a red hot team in Miami sitting at home. It's not a great spot for a traveling team to have to do this.
No, it's not.
Off 14 innings, get on a plane, travel, get up, get ready, and then you look at Greinke in his last outing. He got murdered in his last outing, and then you have to look at that and you have to take it with a grain of salt. 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 base on balls, 6 strikeouts, 5 earned runs, 1 homer. He got bashed. He did. He got bashed, and that was where he went up against Anderson, who was in the no-no for 8 innings. So, yeah, the guy's been great, but he has had a couple of occasions where he's given up 4 or 5 runs in 5 or 6 innings. And coming off a game like that makes me wonder a little bit, and I can see where the value, they might have grabbed a couple of cents here or there.
Yep.
With a tired team and a tired bullpen, not overly tired, but that's the other thing. They had to work a little harder out of that bullpen yesterday in that extra, and then there was a rain delay involved in it too.
Yeah, it was a real long game.
Yeah, that was not a, so I can see why the money is coming in on the
the Diamondbacks, this is something very unusual. You don't often see this. The Diamondbacks had 2 blown saves yesterday and won the game.
Wow.
Because they blew the save in the ninth inning. Then they went ahead in the extra innings and blew that, and then won it anyway. So that generally doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I could see why the money has come in on Miami, but I think it's just a value bet. I don't think you can bet on luck, but you might be betting that maybe Greinke has hit a negative stride, possibly, against a pretty hot team, Miami. And, it's going to be interesting to watch. We'll learn something from it, even if we don't earn it.
There you go. All right. So, look, if you want to get free plays every day on a recorded message, call 888-294-1970.
And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Jim Feist Sports, and you can get free plays by texting GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827. And don't forget, I have a big play, another big play, a red-hot inner circle release in baseball, $49 at jimfeist.com, along with the Game 1 NBA Showdown. Don't miss out. If you don't go there, you don't get the games from Dave and I, tomorrow you're going to probably have less cash in your pocket than you should have.
There you go. That sounds good to me. And thanks to everybody for joining us. We will do this again on Friday. For Jim Feist and John Grant, of course, I'm Dave Cokin. Thanks for watching and listening to another edition of Proline Daily from Las Vegas.